Hi, this is Dale Buchanan, the host of Puppy Talk Podcast. Before we get started today, I wanted to let you know of my new book, The Complete Puppy Training Manual. It's available on Amazon in 4 formats: Kindle ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. You can find it on Amazon right now. It's called The Complete Puppy Training Manual, and I will put a link in the show notes of this episode. I'm Dale Buchanan, and this is Puppy Talk, the podcast that offers advice on how to raise a healthy, happy, and obedient puppy. This podcast is sponsored by Top Gun Dog Training. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast now so you don't miss a single episode of Puppy Talk. Welcome to Puppy Talk episode number 9. What is positive dog training? I get this question a lot because a lot of people don't understand exactly what positive reinforcement training is. And without getting too geeky and too scientific, there are 4 quadrants of operant conditioning for dog training: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment. When we work with puppies, we focus mostly on positive reinforcement, or we focus entirely on positive reinforcement. I trained over 150 puppies in 2020, and I've got a full load of puppies that I'm training right now. And one thing that I tell all of the owners is, don't try to fix your puppy's behavior early on. What we want to do is we want to teach them the behaviors that we desire from them, such as sit, down, stay, come, wait. Those commands are all something that we desire the puppy to do versus trying to constantly correct them. Because if we start to work with a puppy and we're constantly telling them, no, stop, down, no, Bentley, wait, stop, no, don't do that, no, stop biting, no, off. And you get frustrated, and then the puppy gets frustrated, and you get stressed, and then the puppy gets stressed, and then you have anxiety, and then the puppy has anxiety. And all of a sudden, the puppy doesn't really enjoy living with you anymore. The relationship has been damaged, and the puppy has checked out. So what we try to do with puppies, as much as possible, is teach them the behaviors that we want. Positive reinforcement training works like this. We give a command, such as sit. When the puppy sits, we mark the behavior with a yes or a clicker. And I'll talk more about clicker training later. And then we reward that behavior with a food treat. Food is a great reward for puppies because they're so hungry all the time. When you start to teach a puppy through food reward, science-based training, such as positive reinforcement, they're very happy. They're happy to please you. They're happy to do the things that you want them to do because they're getting great benefit out of it. For positive reinforcement training to work properly, there has to be a consequence. The consequence is the reward, the food reward or the praise. Good boy, good girl. So if I'm teaching a dog down, I'm saying the word down. Waiting a second or two, letting them go into the down position. If not, I lure them into the down position by holding the food reward to their nose, and then I bring it to the ground. When their paws go all the way to the ground and their body is flat, I mark that with a yes. And then I feed them the food reward and say, good boy, good girl. That's how you do positive reinforcement training. So what if you want to teach the puppy to stop doing something and then redirect them to do something else, where you might have to initially use one of the other 3 quadrants of operant conditioning that I mentioned earlier? I have a system called correct it and redirect it, and it works like this. Let's say your puppy is jumping on people when they come into the house. I like to use the sound or no, and then we redirect them to the sit. So it would work something like this. Guest comes into your house. The puppy begins to jump. You say no. And then the puppy stops jumping. And then you say sit. And when the puppy sits, you mark that and say yes. And reward them for with the treat. And you say good boy, good girl. So that's how you redirect a puppy. And instead of saying to them when they jump, no, stop jumping, off, get off of them. No, oh, Bentley, stop, don't do that, no. And you're making them more excited and you're reinforcing the jumping. We don't reinforce the jumping. We interrupt that train of thought. We interrupt that pattern and we redirect it to something that we want them to do, such as sit. So once again, puppy goes to jump on a guest. As they begin to jump, you say no. They look at you. You say sit. And then when they sit, you say yes. Reward them with the food treat. You say good boy, good girl. And then they're going to do more sitting than jumping because they're getting rewarded for that. If they're not getting rewarded for something, they're not going to keep doing it. If they're barking or jumping or chewing or misbehaving, if you're talking to them and touching them and trying to, tell them what to do and they don't understand anything that you're saying, then that's reinforcing that behavior. So with positive reinforcement, we stop reinforcing the behaviors we don't want and we begin to and continue to reinforce the behaviors that we do want. I hope this makes sense to you and I hope you understand how important positive reinforcement training is, or some people just call it positive training, for puppies. It is the most important thing for teaching a puppy in addition to association, which we're going to get into in another episode. So right now, when you have your puppy, a new puppy, focus on positive reinforcement, teaching the puppy what you want them to do, rewarding that, and stop nagging them so much of doing stuff that you don't want them to do, because all that's going to do is make them frustrated and make them overexcited. Thank you for listening to Puppy Talk. Be sure to check out our website, puppytalkpodcast.com. And if you feel that this information was helpful to you, please be sure to give us a review and leave a donation on our website, puppytalkpodcast.com. Have a great day. This is Dale Buchanan, host of Puppy Talk Podcast. I have an announcement of a new book that I just published called Potty Training Your Puppy. It's available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback, soon to be available on audiobook. You can find out all the details of this book using the link in the show notes. It's called Potty Training Your Puppy. It's a comprehensive book with a simple and effective way to help potty train your puppy, and it really works. Check out the link in the show notes.